Hello, I'm Dr. Kritzer, and I'm very pleased to be able to present to my good friend Dr. Suleiman's class at Rangset University. Hello, everybody. I'm really sorry I couldn't be with you today. Plans were made, but I caught something really bad yesterday and I didn't feel very well and I didn't want to get everybody sick. Uh, and so we're going to use technology for this presentation. The first part of my presentation concerns how difficult it is to implement inclusion well. And I'm going to talk about the subject of implementing full inclusion in general education classrooms. There you can see me in the bottom corner, and hopefully we can meet in person down the line. And you see this guy up there, he's having a very difficult time navigating, just like many schools are when it comes to implementing inclusion in the classroom. This is my email. You are now my students as well, and I care about you and would love to have you correspond with me. I come to you from the University of Nebraska-Kearney, right in the middle of America, halfway between Boston and San Francisco. And you can see there's my chancellor in the corner, and this is my university. And I've been here almost 8 years. We grow corn in Kearney, Nebraska, and when the corn is good, life is good. And you can see me standing outside, right up outside of my class, right outside of my university, in a very good crop of corn. And there's me in my office with too much coffee as usual. And there you have a look at me there. So let's get to the topic at hand. And I encourage you to go through these slides, stop them, discuss them, jot down a question, and we're just going to have an online chat when these videos are finished. I anticipate maybe 10 to 15 minute videos, 2 of them, and chat after that. And I will give you instructions on how to do that. So anyway, we're talking about the challenges of implementing full inclusion. There's a trend toward it. And just like all trends, people tend to grab onto them a little bit too much. And maybe and one of the problems that we find is that we don't really know research results. It's very difficult. Models are so different. And there's been very little attention paid to how non-disabled peers do in a full inclusive classroom. How are the best students doing in there? Do we want to have the best students suffer? Another thing is that the children with disabilities in a fully inclusive classroom, we have no research to show that they do better academically in there. We do know that there are social gains. It's like we have a competing philosophy here. We have the principle of full inclusion and everybody getting fully included, and we have the principle of least restrictive environment, which is an individualized decision. Where do children belong? And when we start to adapt a trendy approach, maybe we don't put enough individualization into the child's program. So you can tell they're fighting there. That's animation. Every school district in America must offer a continuum of placements so the child can be educated in their least restrictive environment, whether it's a regular class and full inclusion. Maybe they perhaps need pull-out. Maybe they need a full-time special class. And some children are so impaired that they need an education and training in a hospital. Children should be educated in their least restrictive environment, as close to their same age peers, as close to their home school as is appropriate for them. Very important concept. Some people talk about, well, there are dilemmas, of course. Some people talk about there's a stigma of being pulled out of a classroom, but it's often very obvious who people are working with in a full inclusive classroom. The stigma is either there or not there, and we need to teach our children through disability awareness to respect all differences in abilities. I mentioned earlier that there's no research, no good quality research on actual measured gains academically in full inclusive classrooms because there's so many different models. And sometimes people say, yes, we want to do full inclusion. We want to, but they're giving you politically correct, socially desirable answers. Practices of inclusion vary greatly from school to school, adding to the problem of measurement, assessment. If they're in a full inclusive classroom and the method is wrong for them, they're not getting the appropriate education. And oftentimes, as I have mentioned, in a full inclusive classroom, if a lot of attention is paid to the children with disabilities, the high achievers or the gifted students are often left out. In America, there is no money for gifted education. I ran a pull-out program for 25 years, and I often felt that it wasn't appreciated. People didn't know that the kids were making gains, but many, many children came to my program as non-readers and left the school as fluent readers by getting that individualized attention.